Steffi did get through to the semis and wasn't able to complete that tournament. And as you say, Fred, lost to Anna Kournikova in the quarterfinals last week in Eastbourne.
But I think, you know, for the first time we saw a little bit of temperament from Steffi in that match, and there's been quite a bit written about it. And Steffi said, well, it's the first time that she can remember ever in her career behaving like that. She complained about some line calls and didn't shake hands with the umpire afterwards, and that's not Steffi. But having said that, I think under a lot of pressure coming back, only having played a couple of tournaments, I think she's got to look at it as a positive fact that she played so well down in that particular match with Kournikova.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. And there's
Garcia to serve.
It's just so terrific to see her back on this surface. There's nobody that's played as well as Steffi Graf on the grass except for Martina Navratilova.
Well, she missed Wimbledon last year for the first time in 10 years. And as Betsy mentioned, came back on the tour at Birmingham
15
just 2 weeks ago. But we've talked about the weather here for the last 5 or 6 weeks. The weather over here in Europe, and particularly in England, has been terrible. Only been the last 4 or 5 days that they've had some good sunshine, and it's done the courts wonders here at Wimbledon and the practice facility nearby at Orangi.
30.
A couple of errors from Graf. These two have never played each other before. Gala Leon Garcia is a better player on the clay courts. She's from Barcelona, Spain, and much prefers the slower surfaces.
40.
That's a smart second serve. Steffi is always looking to play her big forehand, especially on second serves. Gutsy second serve to take it out wide to the Graf forehand.
There's another lefty down in Spain that did well at the French. .40 love.
40-50.
Yes, young Magui Serna. Very talented young player from Spain.
And there's a lot of Spaniards around these days, believe me, in both the men's and women's draw. Oh, well played. So Leon Garcia wins the opening game, 1 game to love.
First game. It's Graf to serve.
Steffi Graf to serve for the first time here at the championships this year. In that previous game, that last point with Leon Garcia, she sort of slipped and put a foot into the net, but the chair didn't notice it, so they gave her the point, and that was the game.
There's a couple of big points from Graf, able to move around and hit her big forehand. Yeah, Garcia actually looked at the umpire, kind of waiting for the call. She slipped and her foot touched the net before the ball had bounced twice. She was waiting for the call. She's happy that she didn't get it.
Maybe they don't think she's going to get too many games out here, Betsy, so they thought they'd be nice to her. Very nervous to get out there in front of a capacity crowd here on centre court, and what a thrill for her it must be. 40 love, Graf.
Game is strong.
Rolled too long on the forehand side, so Graf wins her first game. It's 1-all.
It's been such a frustrating time for Steffi Graf ever since the knee started to act up a little bit over a year ago. Of course, she had the surgery just after the French Open. She had hamstring problems earlier in the year, had to pull out of Indian Wells.
Yeah, she's been going to make a couple of comebacks and has not done so up until just. And there was a lot of discussion whether she would really come over and play Wimbledon.
Well, she said if she had one more thing, you know, creep up, that she was just, it was just not worth it. She would go through a rehab and then something would go wrong and she'd have to take time off again, and it was always a start, stop, and it was just so frustrating. But she says physically the last couple of weeks have been going very, very well. I think she's just so happy to be feeling fit and in good shape.
30 love.
It's a good play from Garcia. She's got good hands. Nice slider forehand there. She's not at all afraid to approach the net. This is her second service game, and she's only lost 1 point on serve.
40 love.
(40-50).
Not too many left-handers out there on the tour, but both the Spanish girls that we talked to you about are both left-handed. It's a different look, and Graf doesn't see that much of it, so Leon Garcia whole serve. It's 2 games to 1.
Leon Garcia leads 2 games to 1.
Welcome back to Wimbledon. Leon Garcia from Spain against Steffi Graf, the number 4 seed. It's 2 games to 1.
15 love. Let first serve. Out. 30 love. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, please no flash cameras. Thank you.
Request from the chair, no flash cameras. And don't have as much trouble over here with cell phones as they had in Paris. I don't know whether you were with us during the championships there, the French Open, but that's every half an hour, about once a set, turn those cell phones off. A little bit slippery behind the baseline there, the first day of the championships. Conditions a little greasy. 40 love, Graf.
(40-50).
Well, a couple of big forehand returns there from
40-30.
Garcia.
Game is Graf.
So Graf finally gets it together and whole serve. It's 2-all.
2 games.
Graf is seated number 4 here. She's in the opposite half of the defending champion, Martina Hingis, Betsy. And how do you see things panning out as the tournament progresses?
Well, it's the top half of the draw is pretty heavily loaded. You've got, of course, Hingis, Novotná. You've got both Williams sisters up there.
All the
Kornikova.
youngsters are in the top half.
Yeah.
It's the veterans as well, the ones that are over 24 anyway, pretty much in the bottom half. I think Novotna's down there. She's the veteran of the championship.
15
Sanchez, Vicario, Graf.
And Seles is down in the bottom half. Graf and Seles would meet if they both can make it to the quarterfinals.
15 love.
(30 love).
Well, it's not a confident start from Graf. She's having trouble with the left-handed serve, and then when they get into the rallies, when the slice backhand, 30 love.
she was there. A lot of power off that backhand from Graf.
30-15.
You don't see Graf come over the ball over the years. She's practiced that shot a lot, but in matches very rarely used it. On that occasion, she did come and hit a topspin cross-court backhand, caused the error on the volley. That's again that left-handed serve moves, and we've said Graf doesn't see a lot of left-handers, and she's been out of the game for quite some time, and the left-handed serve is just fooling her a lot now.
Yeah.
A lot of them into the body. 40-15.
That's well played there.
40-30.
All set up by the forehand return of serve, and Graf sometimes has been reluctant to follow some of her big ground strokes into the net. Two well played points.
Deuce.
Brings this game to deuce.
Now break point for the number 4 seed. Good net coverage there, and a clap of the racket there from Graf. Good sportsmanship.
Juice.
Graf did a good job to make such a good return of serve, and Garcia was very quick and alert to get into the net, and she's got good hands. Garcia
She anticipated that well.
She did. Graf again working her way to the net. This gives Graf a second break opportunity. Garcia can play on this surface. She got to the 3rd round last year here at Wimbledon and lost to Novotna.
Graf knows that she just didn't do enough with that once she got up there. Very quick. She's always been speedy around the court, but this one didn't do much with it at all. An easy put away. Juice.
Advantage, Miss Graf.
That's only the 3rd forehand winner from Graf, but she has had a lot of forcing forehands. There's a 3rd break opportunity.
Game is
One's long, so that's the service break there for Graf. She leads it 3 games to 2.
Miss Graf.
Well, Scotty Draper won earlier, and now that's the scoreboard down on court 5. They're just taking the names off the board as Australia's Mark Woodford comes through 6-1 in the 4th set over Nipshield. He lost the opening set, and there's Mark there with a couple of Aussie boys there that I saw walking around the grounds. They're really adding a little bit of humour to what's going on out there today, the old Bush boys. So Mark Woodford is through, and it's nice of him to have a photo taken with those guys. They've been making a bit of noise. They've had a couple of beers out there and probably some strawberries and cream. Good on them. So adds to the atmosphere here as we go back to centre court, and Steffi Graf 3 games to 2 with a break.
It would be so terrific if Steffi can keep her form and her fitness. She says that's her biggest problem, and biggest hope is to just remain fit. And it's just so good to have her back playing. And there's been so much talk about the young players, and women's tennis right now is the healthiest it has ever been.
I'd just like to see Graf continue to do that, even though she missed that volley there. I want to see her continue to come in behind that big forehand, and she has done on a few occasions today. And I just feel if she gets through that first week without too much of a problem, Betsy, she's going to be hard to stop the second week. When if things dry out, the courts get a little quicker, the forehand goes off a little bit more, it's going to get a bit more speed. She's been here, she's done that, knows how to win here at Wimbledon. Martina Hingis is going to have a little bit more of a problem to defend the title this year. Hingis only 17 years old, and Graf's won this event 7 times. Well, she comes over the top of that backhand, and it found the line deep in the corner, so Leon Garcia has broken back, and we're at 3-all. Big problem, as you mentioned, Betsy, when you come back and you've had a layoff, it's tough to sort of get yourself going again, and she played well last week down at Eastbourne, but this is going to be a little bit of a nervous reaction coming back here to Wimbledon after a couple of years onto centre court, and everybody wants to see her do well. Kid's taking it to her.
She really is. I remember similar conditions with a first day green grass like this back in '94 when Graf came out and played Laurie McNeil in the first round and lost. Of course, Laurie McNeil is an excellent fast court player.
Again, she can show that she can slice the backhand and then come over it. It's well played.
Steffi admits to having some nerves. But as she says, she's trying not to put any pressure on herself. She just wants to enjoy being out here playing what possibly could be her last Wimbledon.
Second serve.
Tell you what, if she loses today, it will be, Betsy, I think.
Yeah.
But
30-15.
30-15.
Second double from Garcia. A couple of years ago, Garcia had a terrific Grand Slam, her debut Grand Slam at the French Open as a qualifier. She got all the way to the 4th round. Lowest ranked player to do so. Moves well, made that volley much easier by scurrying in and catching it. See how she moved in and made that volley easy by catching it still when it was pretty high, nice and deep. But for the time she was broken, she's really served well and won service games comfortably.
Graf with that explosive forehand probably was the biggest shot in tennis up until about 12 months ago. That's when Steffi went out of the game with injury, and then you had the likes of Kornikova and the Williams sisters, and boy, they hit the ball hard. Lucic. Well, a little bit of touch there, hit the tape, rolls over. So Garcia hits the front, 4 games to 3. And welcome back to Wimbledon. And we have some action out there on court 14. Back on centre court now.
15 love.
This young lady, her parents own a snack bar called Grand Slam, so they're just a great tennis playing family. I like her lifestyle, Betsy. She says she likes to party, fiesta, and siesta.
Yeah, she's a lot of fun. She's a popular player on the tour, and she's playing awfully well here today. She is played her forehand well. She's played her backhand well. She's not been afraid to come in. In fact, she's got 7 volley winners.
40-50.
To only 2 for Graf.
She plays Fed Cup for Spain. Reached the 3rd round here at Wimbledon last year.
She's ranked 49 in the world. She's been fairly consistent for the last year or so.
Game is Graf.
Graf struggling a little, but it's 4-all in the opening
4
set.
games in.
We do have some sad news just given to us here as Anna Kournikova, the youngster from Russia who so much has been written about, so many photographs, so much hype, has had to withdraw. She withdrew last week with a sprained thumb, and apparently it's a strained ligament in her thumb, and she has withdrawn from this year's Wimbledon. And, there'll be a lot of young fellows around the grounds who don't like that, Betsy.
15.
She has headlines on a couple of different papers today saying she has had basket loads of marriage proposals.
Again, on behalf of the players, please,
but
no
far more important than that is the fact that it's a real big disappointment. She got to the semifinals last year in her debut Wimbledon. She had been playing so well. She took a fall at 3-all in the 3rd set against Graf last week in Eastbourne and was able to continue playing, but after that match she knew she had injured her thumb and pulled out, defaulted to Sanchez Vicario in the semifinals.
She sort of said that she was going to play Wimbledon, whatever, but obviously at that age you figure, hey, you give it a shot, so it must be rather painful that she cannot do that. There's that sliding serve again. It gets away from Graf, and she just does not move her feet to get out there, so she's not behind the ball at all. And the ball is moving away from that backhand, and she's stretching out, losing control of the backhand. 40-15, Garcia.
40-30.
This is the serve that's been bothering her to the ad court. She's either been able to slide it out wide to the backhand, or down the middle it comes right into the forehand, right into the body. 40-30. You can see Graf moving, and as soon as she runs around and tries to hit that forehand, the ball's chasing her, coming into the body all the way. She got there, she set the point up beautifully.
That by far the best point in this match, and even Steffi's got a smile about that.
Not much of a smile, but a smile nevertheless. She did a lot of work here, Graf.
That lob landing right on the line, and I think Garcia just couldn't quite decide what she was going to do with that fairly simple high forehand volley, and at last minute decided to try a drop volley.
Juice. She only had to put it anywhere in the service box because Graf was not been able to recover, having chased that lob way back.
Advantage, Miss
Graf. 40-15 lead in this game. It is now a break point for Graf. She's would love to serve for this first set.
Juice.
Well, Garcia has mixed things up very well with the slice approach on the backhand and then the roll topspin on the forehand side. And she's saying to Graf, okay, if you want to beat me, you've got to hit some winners. Graf struggling a little at the moment. She's played two very costly drop shots, one on the volley. That one she attempted the drop shot, the good idea, but she had to give it a little bit more air. So now another opportunity for Graf to break.
Juice.
That's a terrific serve on a break point. It's a smart serve. She'd been going out to that backhand a lot and just hit a fairly big serve right down the tee.
Yeah, coming in a little bit again, and Graf caught it on the throat of the racket. Juice.
Advantage, Miss Graf.
Break point number 3.
Game is Graf.
There it is, the slap of the thigh. Steffi Graf says, okay, there's the break. She now leads 5 games to 4. And men's singles, first round out on court 2, the graveyard court there. Gustavo Kuerten, who won the French a couple of years ago against our own Jason Stoltenberg, semi-finalist here a couple of years ago. A set apiece, and it's 2-love, Stoltenberg. Back to centre court action now. Graf serving for the opening set.
Love 15.
Good deep serve there, out to the forehand. I've always felt that was a pretty good serve to the lefty's forehand on that side.
Still got an awful lot of pace on that serve. Her fastest one today's been at 104 miles per hour. And she's averaging around 94 miles an hour.
$15.30.
$15.30.
Garcia certainly making Graf work for every point.
Yep.
40-30.
Okay, Graf is there at set point.
Game
Well,
first
that's
set,
it
Miss
for the
Graf.
opening set there. Graf has done it.
6 games
It's 6
to 4.
games to 4. And whilst Graf has been comfortable in her efforts here, somebody else who's somewhat in the comeback mode is over on court 1. It's Monica Seles. Let's go over to Tony and Liz.
Welcome back to the championships on day 1. A good crowd in on what is a very, very good day weather-wise, because they've had a lot of rain leading up to the championship, so we keep our fingers crossed. Plenty to eat, drink, and of course, the best part about it, there's also plenty of tennis. All right, we've got the closing stages right now of the Steffi Graf match. Let's go back to Betsy Nagelson and Fred Stolle.
Thanks, Ken. And it's Steffi Graf doing it comfortably here against Gala Leon Garcia.
Love 15.
Ladies here, and it's love 15. That's the scoreline there, 6-4 Graf, 5-1.
15.
Tried the backhand slice approach. Had a lot of trouble with that serve early, Betsy, but then convincingly has come through in the second set.
I think she started to read it much earlier, and in the second set, Steffi has played much cleaner, much crisper. The first 3 games of this second set were really very close. Garcia was down 15-40 on her serve in the opening game of the second set and fought back and held serve. The only game she won in this second set. She got broken in the third game after the longest game in the match.
Well, that's the forehand that we'll be looking for more of from Graf as this tournament progresses.
15-30.
With Kornikova unfortunately having to pull out, makes things a little more comfortable for Graf. 30 all.
That's a big forehand from Graf. She's hit 19 winners in this match, and 14 of them have been on the forehand side. This is a match point.
Oh, good serve there. She's been rather successful with that one.
You can see that ball just stays so low and scoots down in there, and Graf is trying to pick it up.
Oh, that's you don't see too many errors like that off a short ball from Graf. Now it's advantage Garcia.
Let first serve. Juice.
Well, Garcia loves to play these short drop shots, either off of a ground stroke or a volley. She's got good hands, but missing with that one. Oh, that's big. And Graf can do that so well. The ball actually got behind her, but she's so strong and so quick with that wrist. The racket head goes through so quickly that she got away with that one. So this is a second match point for Graf.
Game, set, match.
That's the off forehand we know and love. So Steffi Graf is through. She's seated number 4 here. She's not that far up in the rankings, but it's wonderful to see her back here. And actually a little bit of a slow start. Took her a while to get hold of the serve, but she's going to be quite pleased because it looked excited when she hit that forehand winner to finish it off with.
Yeah, I think she'd be happy with the way she played out here today. I mean, it is the opening day, and she's got to be excited to get through it. She knows that with each match that she plays, she'll get better, she'll get sharper. And I think as just being physically fit is the best news.
Well, we talked about the fact that she lost to Kornikova last week and was a little bit disappointed with the form, but a lot of folks think that if she gets through the first week here, then she will be tough to beat. There's the traditional bow to royalty in the box there, the Duke and Duchess of Kent as they go off, and we'll take a break and bring you back for more live tennis from Wimbledon Day 1.